Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday. Monday. So, I was kind of doing I don't want to do this morning because I'm having a problem getting started. However, I'm started, and Pepper is started, and Pepper and I are both started. Why does it not do this by default? Hello, Pepper.
Weird. It's weird. That's why it doesn't do it on by default.
Right? Like it starts out with us side by side, like cut, so that we're all like doing this every time, and I'm like, okay, thanks, because this is the way we should be. And I have to click the button to make it like organized correctly every time. I don't know.
I
So
don't know.
I don't know either. I just work here, man.
Yeah.
I am trying to decide which way I'm doing this. So I tell you I figured out how to. Well, no, I didn't, because you
Mm-hmm.
did. I figured out brush sensitivity over the weekend. A buddy of mine was like, "You're doing this wrong." And she was like, "Do it this way." Ah! It's like, okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then so I fixed my brush sensitivity. So last night on last night's broadcast, I fixed the brush sensitivity over here on the XP pen. So we're gonna fix that too. But I'm putting in modesty bars so that I can broadcast what I'm doing, because we're in that same scene where Chang is not wearing any clothes, and we know that everybody will melt down. So issues. How are you doing this morning?
Mm, tired.
Yeah, you look and sound tired.
I literally woke up at like 4 something this morning. Uh-oh. We have messages with Bill already.
Good morning, Bill.
Morning. I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
So, I had a hyper unrealistic dream the other night that I was a transfer student to Japan.
Hmm.
And that brought up the question in my mind like, what would happen, like, if, like, I don't know if you've ever taught Kai anything about the Japanese language, but, like, if you two had to move to Japan because you got a job out there or something, like, where would he go? Like, he couldn't just go to their schools, right? Because like he doesn't speak Japanese. Like, what does he do?
He goes to the schools.
Really?
Actually, that's legitimately what they do. They put them in school, and kids are very resilient and
Mm-hmm.
flexible. They pick up the language quick.
Oh, okay.
Um, but the presumption is always trial by fire.
Oh, okay.
There are schools where you can put him in, which are English speaking schools, but they're very. It's like finding Spanish speaking schools here,
Right.
and actually has pretty much the same level of stigma.
Mm.
So if you put, not only do you put him in an English speaking school, but most of the culture around it is like, well, you're just trying to make them not fit in, and they're just keeping them as outsiders, and
Right.
you know, um, stuff like that. But yeah, 90% of the time they just drop them in the school and say, "Good luck."
Mm.
But I mean, really, honestly, within a couple of weeks, he would have picked up. I mean, every day, all the time, 24/7, he would have picked up enough to survive within a couple of weeks. So he'd only be behind for about 6 months,
Yeah.
and then he'd catch up on the language just fine.
Oh, okay.
Kids really move fast on
Yeah.
language.
Mm-hmm.
Because so didn't we're talking Bill had a dream about being a transfer student to Japan, and was wondering what would happen if we were to suddenly be transferred tomorrow, and where would they put the kiddo. And I was like, they just drop him in a school,
Yep.
and good luck.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the way you had with one of your kids, because
Yeah.
she was Japanese, but she spent the first like 6 years of her life or
I
whatever.
had a Sri Lankan girl. She's really the one I
That's a
think
better
is
one.
the best example. She learned Japanese. She translated for her mom. She was 50.
They just move fast. They
Hmm.
have language so quick, and especially at that age, that would if you were kiddo's age, it actually would be better than if you were Bill's age,
Right.
because at kiddo's age he wouldn't have an accent.
Right.
He'd pick up Japanese, and if you put him on the phone, you wouldn't know he wasn't a Japanese citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you and I, we would sound like we are from another country every time. It wouldn't matter. Every time I talk in Japanese, everybody's like, "Whoa, your American accent is so thick," and I'm like, "Meh." Like, it's been 20 years on this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, recently though, I have been trying to hammer my accent down a little
Mhm.
bit, and people have been going, "Wow, actually, your accent's pretty good now."
Right.
But it has taken a long time and a lot of conscious effort. So there you go. There's
Okay. Cool.
your hyper unrealistic dream that has the answer to it.
Yeah.
I actually
No, it was
was.
like, first off, I'm way too old to be a transfer student, right? And so I don't know why I'm having the dream. And then like nothing in it was like real because I've never been there. I don't know anything about it. So it was
Right.
all
So
my mind just making it up,
right. They were giving everybody
Oh
California
no!
Rose
Tell
Lunch
tell
and
him
stuff.
about the student services part about
Oh
it.
no, so like I couldn't understand like they hand me the paper that I assume would show you where all your classes are going to be. So I assume this is like middle school or high school, and it tells you this subject in this classroom, this subject in that classroom. Again, I don't know how education works in Japan,
Sure.
so I'm just
Yeah, so you're
using
making it up in
American,
your head. I get it.
right? And so it's in all in Japanese, and I don't know where the hell anything is, and I'm not finding it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to student services, like you would in our schools, and they would just tell me where to go. But apparently, like there was a 2-week waiting list to talk to student services, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I'm talking to another student, like in America, I just go there and they just tell me, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's probably culturally insensitive. So I'm like, I shouldn't just say it like in America we do it better. So I'm like,
Right.
maybe they just do it differently here, and I just don't understand it yet.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was just crazy wild, my brain making it up. But
It's all good. Yeah, you wouldn't have had a problem in that sense. I mean, not like but you wouldn't have had a problem like that until college.
yeah,
Because in Japan, all of the same, you move from class to class. The class moves from room to room.
oh, the whole class.
Yeah. So
Oh.
there's an English room, and then we have 1-1, then we have 1-2, then we have 2-3, and then we have 3-4, and and that's third year, fourth class, and then first year, first class, and then you know what I mean? Like, so only the teachers have a schedule.
Oh.
Everybody else just goes from classroom to classroom.
Oh,
And
okay.
they pick up all their stuff and go with them. Hello, Melon.
All right. I
Welcome
need
to
to
the
go
morning.
back to work.
See you later, Bill.
See.
So Pepper, Melon, Pepper. Pepper is another artist in our local group.
Hello, Melon.
Melon was on last night and was hanging with us.
Okay.
Somebody who usually hangs out with Kayan, who Kayan will likely be on a little later on. Hopefully, he's got to feed his chickens and alpaca and whatever else is on his farm. Farm.
I always forget that he has a farm. I really do.
Yeah. All right.
Now, I am working on a commission right now. This is the first one.
Chickens
After
rock.
I get this commission done, I have a commission for that's a larger painting. It's a 12 by 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've already prepaid for it, so
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. It's $500 commission.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. We're running a little low on money this month, so I could see that being a big plus if you were in our shoes, if I was in your shoes. That doesn't make any sense, but I think you understand the sentiment behind that. Even if the logic behind it seems to suddenly fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to switch to monitor. We also should probably put on some tunes. We could be chill this morning. If the chill doesn't do like the weird number counting thing. So, all right. So I spent the entire weekend working on convention stuff. But I love being with my convention guys because they've now known me for 20 years. And there's now 2 of us actually on the board now who are artists, and they just let us pull out the computers and sit them on the table and start drawing during the middle of the meeting, which is so nice. Because they also know that we are listening very intently. They know we're doing the job, and both of us are ADDers and both of us are artists, and both of us are better off drawing. Because we get bored and then stop paying attention to them if we're not. So it's actually pretty cool. All right. Are you drawing as well, Melon, this morning? Because you don't have to actually be online with us, but you can draw with us. Sweet. Okay. Bring this up. I have now done blockouts so that I don't have to violate the terms and service of everybody. All right. One of the biggest gripes that I have with I believe oh yeah, I follow that. You're talking about for when you broadcast? We were a hell of a tea. Thank you, Clip Studio. Oh, I see. I see. That makes sense. Yeah, stick it right on her head. Because that's important. I've got a great idea as well. Here, I'm going to just put this all in this panel. Okay, that's cool.
So we saw. So we did go and see Red last night, the last showing, before they closed the viewing of it.
For Red?
Yeah, the One Piece movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alan wanted to see it.
In a lot of ways, it was fun to see because there's definitely spoilers if you're not like up to date in the anime. In it. But like some of the stuff, I want to say some parts to it just seemed. How do I put it? It would be better if I read it in a manga.
That's fair.
But the soundtrack is basically what you're going to look forward to.
I feel like I read somewhere they had a live broadcast of that soundtrack of the from the main singer, the lead singer of that soundtrack or something. Hopefully, I'm saying the right things. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I love the 21st century, and then there are other times where it's like wild, right? Yeah, like a Vocaloid. I feel like they had that's what I think. It feels like it was a Vocaloid or something like that. So like it was a big deal and very cool. But now my Swiss cheese ancient brain is having a hard time following all of these things anymore now. But
Well, the thing is you're not that far off. The actual like, I want to say like the actual like the way that she was moving in animated was like a Vocaloid. Basically, they had her like doing a standard Vocaloid dances multiple times.
That's fair.
To singing. It's just Honestly, sometimes I wonder if the creator of One Piece really likes his characters sometimes. Because he puts his characters through like the ringer at times, and this is like the movie kind of proves it.
Fair. Don't give too many spoilers though. No one wants to
I'm
see it.
not giving a spoiler away. It's just like there's like a lot of stuff that happens in it that I wish didn't.
Yeah.
And it's more like I like the characters that much that I don't want them to go through it.
Right. I was thinking a lot about this though when you talk about like characters and things like that though. I mean, the character I'm drawing right now, she's gone through some really nasty stuff, but we haven't seen it yet. We haven't talked about it in the comic or in the story. There's been no discussion of it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Uta. That's who it was. So it was Uta did a live event. I saw that recently. But you're right. I think it was something. But Uta is Japanese for sing or song. So
Well,
I find it interesting.
She has so One Piece. Their big thing is devil fruit powers. The character itself, herself, has a power called Sing Sing Fruit, and from a very young age, she was a gifted singer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why she is called Uta. If that helps.
Yeah, that's what Melon's saying. She ate the Sing Sing.
Yeah.
I always think about that one too when you think about like the Seiyu, which has to do this part. You know, because like you bring in this person who, you know, they've practiced for years and years and years and years and years to be a very good singer. And you bring them in, and you're like, okay, so the character that you're playing ate a fruit and now can sing really well. And you're like, you know, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
It'd be kind of like, you know, you and me, like we walk in, we need you to draw this picture. By the way, you're drawing this picture as if this character who's 3 years old and touched the magical I can draw really well thing, and we're like all right.
Harold and the Purple Crayon, all over again.
Right. Right, exactly. And I hate it when people are like, you are so talented. I'm like, talent. No, this is all hard skill. But then it's like there's two sides to it. Like I use the maquettes now to speed up the process. But then everybody's like, well, now you're cheating. And I'm like, I was never cheating before. Why am I cheating now? You know? I can't win. You can never win. Never win. Oh, hey, I love this. Wait. Look at all these cute little things. Mwah.
What cute little things.
Melon put a whole bunch of the of their work on here because they do. Oh, they just said it. Lost the word.
They do.
Those
Oh, okay.
emotes. Thank you. Big words. I have problems with the big words. Well, this doesn't look as good whenever I have it separated out like this. No, at 6 point, it just doesn't take up as much space as I want it to, or as I think it should. It's right. That's difficult, making them small enough but still readable, like you can parse the data. .500 by 500 pixels? Really? That's where you work?
Sounds about right.
No, I'm having an old moment. Leave me alone. Because like 500 by 500 pixels is half of my normal like comic book size. It's like half this page. Except that this page isn't at 500 pixels or 1,000 pixels. I just think it is in my head because I'm old. Because it's not. This thing's at like 6,000 by 3,000 or something ridiculous, which is a size way, way, way beyond my comprehension and brain. Oh, no. Yeah, this is not even remotely a statement on you. At all. Totally me going, oh. Because I have, ancient issues.
I don't know how ancient you can say that they are.
Well, so emotes back in the day used to be 50 by 50. At best. And that was huge. Wow. Suddenly? 47,000 messages. I don't know. Oh, no, Ken, I don't know. I'm getting messages in on Slack. Why am I getting messages in on Slack? Uh-oh. Slack has decided it can now start pushing notifications to me again. We're going to have a talk. Clicking our boots together. Clack. Hi, George. Would you like to get scritches? Or do you just want to, like, do the thing? Here, come up here. Come up here, I'll scritch you. I am not opposed, you understand. But you cannot actually jump up there from that angle. Okay. You know what? Kitty brain, you do you. Cool. Oh yeah, and that's actually, having done that type of thing back in the olden days, in the early days of whenever. I totally
The early days of what? The internet?
Yeah, the internet. and stuff like that, having to do because see, now it's actually really cool because I can like say, hey Melon, will you do all of these specialized emotes, and they can do them, and that's really cool. Back in the early days you had to hard code that stuff, you know. But we also had to make it super small because it was going to chew up a ton of memory doing it. What was it? My kid was doing this the other day. He came in and he was like, I need to get. He was talking about programming, and he wants to reprogram Mario because the rage right now is to redo 8-bit games. That's a rage, reprogram them in Scratch or whatever. So he's really into that, and that's his big thing. And he's like, and I'm sitting there going, well, okay, but understand that when you code in Scratch, you're coding on top of you're like 3 levels down. So it's not just assembly; it's assembly to C, and then C to Windows, then Windows to Scratch. So you're at 4 levels down. And he's like, yeah, it runs pretty slow. I think I only get like 150 frames a second. And I'm like, he's like, and I'm like, but it's also going to hog up memory. And he's like, well, the original cartridge took up 48K. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. And this one's almost 500 megs. But luckily, I've got like 4 gigs of space on the little hard drive. And I'm like, we're just so much larger. Everything is so much bigger than the days that when I actually did programming. Yeah, I assume, Melon, that you are cognizant of this trend. It seems like a thing. I don't understand it, but I knew that there would be a day when things would start becoming I don't get what you're doing. I knew that would come. You know what I mean? Like, I was very hip and with it because I was an anime fan early on. I stayed with the anime crowd for a long time as the anime crowd kept getting younger around me. You know what I mean? But now it's starting to diverge. Even that crowd is starting to diverge. I'm familiar with the newer stuff.
It's now starting to become, so what era of anime do you belong to?
Right.
Are you the original Gundam, that time era? Are you the Sailor Moon, late 80s, early 90s era? Are you the 90s anime beginner?
Right.
Early 2000s. Are you from there? Did you watch Naruto when it was first on?
Right, and that's the thing that's so weird. It's like I am. There were so many of these different trends, and it's okay. It is totally fine. I knew it was going to happen. Like I said, I cognizant and aware. I knew I would age out at some point.
It's not a matter of aging out per se. It's a matter of knowing, like, how long have you been in it?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Oh no, I'm just remembering, like Dad and the infamous I don't know how to work this VCR that we all make jokes about because Gen X, that was our thing, right?
Yeah.
We knew how to run VCRs, we knew how to do all of those things, all of the technology that was coming around at that point. It's a joke that they still tell even today, you know what I mean? Like, it's still something that we still talk about. So I knew it was inevitable. I just didn't know what form it would take. You know what I mean? But I mean, Dad, even recently, Dad was still going, I don't know, this phone thing, I don't understand it. Help me with the phone thing. You know what I mean? Like, he was still doing that.
Well, you have to remember, like, I still remember hearing the whole these computer things aren't going to last. They're not going to be good in business.
I did tell you about dad's lovely story about that one. His favorite story, because the computer started coming out in the late '60s. So when Dad was in the service, right? So he was still in the Army, and the Army was talking all about it, right? Because this was the big talk, especially where my dad was, because my dad was in MI. So he was doing a lot of military intelligence stuff and, black ops, skunk work things. And so that was his thing. So, good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Brent.
So he was talking about how they were talking about all of these things that would someday be computerized. It was said like hush hush. And he was like, I remember thinking at the time, okay, so it can add and subtract faster than me. What does that mean? Right? How is that going to change the world? See you in a bit, Brent. We'll be here. And he remembers that. And he says, and when he told me that story, he used to say that story all the time, but he used that story as a don't sit on your laurels, don't rest. Don't look at something and think this isn't going to change anything. If the people are saying, if there are smart people out there saying this is going to change stuff, pay attention, get with it. Because he would tell that story because he was like, they told us in the Army we were going to be using these things more often. And he couldn't see in the Army how it was going to change. He was in his 20s. What did he know? Right? So kind of his thought process in that one was, he was like, I didn't know what I was talking about at the time. I was a little guy.
Well, the way I heard it, this is personalized computers. So this is the 80s. So this is when we started getting the personalized computers for personal use in home. The big thing was 64 bits of RAM.
Right.
Like, people don't realize, like,
for Brent.
Literally my family's first computer was like, you ran it with MS-DOS. Microsoft was not a thing.
Right, DOS.
DOS is what you did. You typed in a command code, you pulled up what program you wanted, you put a disc in that was the size of a CD. Wait, you don't know what a CD is? Let me get there. It's a 3.5. No, I'm talking about like the 4-inch floppy.
5 and a quarter.
Okay. So it went. Okay, so it was 5, and then it goes to 4, then 3.5, and then from 3.5 we got CDs.
I don't know where you're getting the 4 from. There was only a 5.5 and a 3 and a 4, or a 5 and a quarter and 3.5. The plastic ones were 3.5. The big flappy ones were 5 and a quarter.
So there's one in between them that my school had us use.
Maybe zip drives, but those zip drives were even the zip drives were still just slightly above 3.5. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I used the zip drives too. Anyways, I digress.
You digress.
Because the 3.5 floppies are what the save button looks like. I mean,
nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, and most people don't even remember what those are. So, as
Well, and that's the world. But I mean, there was a time where up here in Boulder, IBM, up here in Colorado, in Boulder, they had IBM, and IBM had at the time the Cray 42MXP, which was a supercomputer. Not you.
Yeah.
And it was this monster machine which I was looking it up the other day, and it had something like a gigabyte of hard drive space. And this was like 1989, right? And it was just this monster machine, and it took up an entire room, and it processed, I think it was like it was getting close to a 1 gigahertz machine. You know, like the processor was at 1 gigahertz. Wasn't. I think it was at 900 megahertz, was what I think. I think it was running at 900 megahertz.
Okay.
And it had a 1 gigabyte hard drive, which took up a room and was a number of platters. And when you turned it on, you actually had to throw one of those TV or movie things where clack sort of thing, and the motors would start it up, and the ground would go while the motors and wind starts coming out of there from all the wind getting blown around in the room, and that kind of weird stuff. I guess there was no wind because I'm sure it was sealed, but still, it was that kind of.
You have to remember back in the day, like if it was any type of like high-powered processing, like the machine was not small.
No, and it was huge. And I remember that because the processing cores sat on these pillars that had cooling vents around the outside where they had refrigeration going around it, and those cooling pads were seats. They put cushions on them, and so all of us little kids were like sitting on them, going, "We're sitting on these computers," and it was so weird and strange to think that I sat on that, and that's slower than my phone. You know what I mean? Like my phone is faster than that thing ever was, with much more storage space and much more processing power. And that's not even talking about the thing that I'm right now drawing my comic on. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And I can see what Dad was saying. Looking from the point of view of 1965, at that point in time, this technology had been around for almost 20 years with the military. And they had taken it from literally clack, 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 to something that was running at a reasonable speed, to, something that was about as powerful as a pocket calculator.
Yeah.
But, and a 70s, 80s pocket calculator, I might add.
Which is mighty different than today's pocket calculator.
Yes. And it was like, it was fascinating. And he was saying, and here I am now, cleaning up photographs, because that was his big thing in the last few years of his life. That was his fun job. He took all the old family photos and took them into Photoshop and was cleaning them up and getting rid of all of he'd hate the new suite of AI stuff, or he'd love them. I can't tell. I don't know whether he'd love them or hate them, because new AI things, one click and they're all gone. But I think he might have actually said that was useful. So
I was scrolling through. I stumbled upon someone's post. There are people now who are going out of their way to kind of like showcase that they use it.
Yep.
And the comments on those for the filters and stuff to like kind of clean up old photos, the comments on them range from "it was wonderful" to "that is like the cheapest thing that you could do, you should just try to do it yourself," to like, it's just all over the map.
it is. I don't know. Backish. You missed our whole talking about a Cray 2 MXP. Just saying. It is, and it's back to so I really do not like AI created art. as far as saying it's your own art. I don't mind using AI created art if you say, this is a concept that I'm thinking about. Here I'm thinking about this thing or that thing. Let me illustrate it for you real quick, even though, but if you're going to say, I did this, and some of that AI art is phenomenal. And it really is beautiful and lovely. And it's like, I don't know if I like this, because I know that the AIs are taking pieces of all of our work that we're doing and just slashing them together. Yeah, I could see that. But in the instance of what I was using it for, I was bringing up Photoshop, bringing up family photos that are from glass negatives from the 1870s, and the quality is just crap. There's no way to do that. And what was coming out of the AI assistants was like, I could see their eyes, which you couldn't actually see in the original picture. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
wrinkles in the skin, which you could see as a human. I could see that there was a wrinkle there, but from just looking at it, it was 2 gray pixels that were slightly grayer than the gray pixels around it. You know what I mean? And it was like, that's an actual, like, your brain as a human brain can interpret that that's actually a wrinkle, but it actually makes sense. We'll see you in a bit, Brent. So it's just interesting. It's weird. And I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
So apparently a group of people, I don't think it's an individual, they went to some comic style, anime style show, and they have prints for sale. And when they put these things up for sale, this came with about 2 pages worth of notes taped up around the booth, stating that they are a collective of AI generation artists. And they don't do anything for profit. So nothing that they were selling there was for profit. And I'm just like, wait a second. You're saying you're not doing this for profit, so why the hell are you taking AI generated art and you know it's not your art and you're selling it? And the whole thing is they're selling the idea of what their art is rather than the actual art piece. And I still have a problem with this. And there are people out there who don't understand the problem, that comment on stuff like this, that they state, I don't understand what the problem is. People generate art all the time, whether it be AI or hand done. And someone trying to explain to them that a actual artist spends 8 hours doing a single piece. They're super proud of it. Everything. They post it. They may get 20, if they're lucky, 20 likes online somewhere. An AI artist takes pieces of their work, integrates it with other person's artwork. They generate a very beautiful picture using that other artist who did the work.
Data
Together with someone else's artwork. They post it online and get 25,000 likes.
That bothers me too. I mean, like,
there's a huge problem with it. because it's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it devalues what artists do naturally, which is create. And the problem that I see going forward, the problem I see going forward with AI generated art is eventually people are going to start doing AI generated art over hiring an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If enough people don't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, I keep thinking about multiple things. Like, okay, AI generated art. Some people have compared it to photography, which I can see. I'm a photographer. I get that. And I know that you take a picture of a person, right? I take a picture of you, Pepper, and you went through all the trouble to make yourself look pretty. You did your hair right. You did your, whatever we need to do to make you look nice. You wear a nice suit. You paid for that suit. You paid for, or let's say you're a cosplayer. You worked for hours on your cosplay. I take a picture of you and sell that picture for $1 billion. Let's just say. How is that different
than AI generated art?
I mean, think about it, because you did the work, you did the art by making that costume.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, the work was put in by you. I went click. You know what I mean? What was the work that I put in? Click. Now, there is more to it than that, of course. As a photographer, I absolutely have to say that, I go through finding good lighting and making sure that everything is set up properly. And then I won't just take one picture, I'll take 12 or 15 of you in each pose until I find the right one with the right everything. Okay. So you quantify it by saying it's not just click. However, there is a click. You know what I mean? Like, you went through hundreds of hours to make that beautiful costume with all that armor, with all those lights, with all the things. And I'm the one that's going to make thousands of dollars on the internet because I happen to upload it with a bunch of other pictures that happen to be similar. And I'm not, by the way, a proponent for AI. Don't get me wrong. However, I also believe that you should think through all of the arguments and not just say, well, that's stupid. You know what I mean? So don't take this as, I think AI is great. Because I'm not sure where I land on AI per se, although I do think I probably land with you. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't want to jump to that conclusion until I've thought it through. Because I want to make sure that whenever I land, wherever I land, firmly land. So, but yeah, that's the thing I think about a lot. How is making money off of AI any different than me making money off of taking a picture of you in a cosplay? You did all the work. You're the art. You and your cosplay, that's the art. I just took a picture. I can see it. I can at least see that argument. I also think, though, we get really mad at our photographers if we take pictures of cosplayers and don't credit them. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. And AI is absolutely black as far as figuring out where the art came from. It could be taking art from you and me right now, and we would never know. And that does bother me a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I want goodbye, 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 goodbye. Maybe here. Goodbye, goodbye. Maybe I'll reverse this. Sorry. I'm.
So I did the finished sketch and I sent it off to the person who paid for it. Then I sent off a wonderful coloring page of the same image to them, just in case they want to color it themselves. I'm going to color it myself too, but uh, alrighty. So I just updated recently to the new Adobe suite for 2023. Forgot it's around that time of year where they upgrade.
Yeah.
So,
I think that. I actually think they may have undone one of the things that drives me absolutely bonkers, which would be nice.
I don't mind it so much, really. I just wish that they would stop trying to force me to do something I don't like doing,
Mm-hmm.
which is the main thing is essentially like I don't want to save the image to their file sharing service.
Right? That's driving me crazy. The default for everything is save it to the cloud. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Well, and the thing is I was like looking at it because like maybe there's something that's like I'm missing, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
I look it up and I'm like, okay, why did they decide to do this? Okay, you can go and change it in preferences. Okay, good. Why wouldn't it let it change in preferences? Why do I have to keep doing it every single time? Even after I've changed it in preferences. And it's like, ugh, I don't like this. Don't like it at all. Alright, I have to go get a print.
Someday your prince will come.
For those of you who were wondering what I was doing,
I always wonder what you're doing. Ah, I like it.
yeah. So,
Sometimes I'm even worrying about what you're doing.
sometimes you worry about what I'm doing.
Sometimes I just worry about you. Then
Sometimes I just worry about myself too.
right?
I am married to a Bill, so
You are married to Bill. These things
Yeah.
make me worry about you a lot. I mean,
yeah. It does make me worry about myself. I mean,
after all, he's a Trekkie, and you know those Trekkies, they're trouble people.
they are. They are.
They're brutal, man. Brutal Trekkies. Mean little Trekkies.
Mm.
Mm-mm. I also think that people are sometimes meaner than they need to be.
Huh?
I mean, I also think that people don't intend to be as mean as they are about things. Like, I think they come across meaner than they mean to be. Like, I think about all the people who talk about the maquette thing with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they mean to be cruel. They just end up accidentally being cruel. You know, really, the truth is, every so often, I make sure that I can draw without a maquette. And I still can, and it's not a problem. It's not hurting my skill set in any way. But boy, this is just so much faster. I don't need to pencil. I don't need to blue line. It's just so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
But I have skill, you know, and I can kind of
Mhm.
see the difference between when we talk about AI. And this adds value to the pictures in a different way. By using the maquettes, things like Chang's freckles never move. You know what I mean? Like, they're always the same.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about downloading Blender the other day to just do environments.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my characters. I don't think I can handle that.
Well,
But I
it
think I can
changes the
handle
way it
inside
looks.
of rooms and stuff.
Yeah, it totally changes the way it looks, though. I mean, so you have to be ready for that. Like, I can't easily draw Chang without a maquette because I'm already kind of used to using the maquette. And when I try to freehand her, I end up making her in my normal style's proportions. So she comes out kind of looking a little different, you know? Not bad, but enough to drive me crazy. I don't think it would bother anybody else who's not me, but it does bother me. See, George, you come by here, you give me like the hi, I'm here, and then you go wander off, weirdo. Messages from George. Not the same as messages from Bill because George is a cat. I don't know if we've scared off Melon. That'd be sucky. I think we have scared off people in the past. We've gotten onto some weird tirade and scare folks off.
Well, I think we were talking about AI. It's a AI generation.
Is hot topic.
It's a hot topic.
It
Not
is.
political or anything. It's just.
That's true. I don't think we can, Brent. I think that there's a certain like fundamental inability to do so. I do like this picture though. This frame looks nice. It took a good, better portion of 2 hours to draw this, even with the maquettes helping out. Because the maquettes weren't. The maquettes are 3D models, so they didn't look right. You can't really get them to squish each other correctly, like a hug would be. So this actually took way more time than it needed to. I actually think I can move these guys over a smidge. Really, I kind of want this picture to be like this so that there's room for. And I mean scare off in, of course, the nicest possible way. Like, not like people are weak or whatever, but more that maybe could have been more whatever. I don't know. I'm just talking now. Because I need room. I need breathing room over here, people.
Oh, hold on a second.
Messages.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. I have to take a phone call. I will be back if I can. All right. Talk to you all later.
Okay. Alrighty. Not yet. And I am. And this kind of is a fundamental question to ask, which is better, to finish a section or or a section, or to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday regulated, which is more important. So, for example, if because like today I can finish these pages and they'll be done. And I won't do the other half of this comic until I've done 2 or 3 Airship 27 illustrations. So that way we can kind of go back and forth, but it needs only 4 pages to be finished. And this half of the one with all of the blackouts, you know. That's the question I guess we have. And I guess what we probably should do is just decide if there's a, well, you've gone too long on a project. And maybe that's it. I don't know. And I don't know, maybe I just don't work well that way. Start a project and then go 2 hours and then break the project, start a different project, go 2 hours, go back to the first project for 2 hours, go back to the second project for 2 hours. I don't know if I can do that as easily. That's hard on the ADD brain. We don't do well with shifting focus like that. So I don't know, maybe. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, and that phone squirrel thing. I think as long as I stay on target, we're fine. Or stay with projects. I don't switch to, I have decided to do this other project. Somebody has hired me to do this project. Suddenly. I'm actually not open for commissions at the moment, so. I've thought about opening up for commissions, but I'm not doing it at the moment, so. That looks weird. Why does this look weird? I know. I shouldn't be squirreling at this point because I appreciate that. It is absolutely a thing I do. You are not wrong. No. Oh yeah, I've got way too many things going on right now. I guess she doesn't look that bad whenever you're pulled out like this. Yeah, she looks fine. That's one of those looks weirder with the maquette than without the maquette. Yeah, it's not going to be a good idea to open commissions till the beginning of the year. even if I were to at any point do so. The real truth is, I'm dedicating all of my energy to getting at least to the end of Momentary Ghosts. Once we're at the end of Momentary Ghosts, then we can start looking around and seeing what's going on. But I'd like one complete cycled episode in. Then we'd have 2 omake, 1 episode, and I can really start hitting next year with going to conventions, and stuff like that. on that chair start to appear inside her or through her, so you can totally see that she is transparent. So she's just like sparkling apart down here. Just keep going with all the background lines. And the fact that they're hand drawn will give a little bit of a feel that, she's, I don't know, still there-ish, whatever, doesn't really matter. Making it look very much like she's dismantling here, as she should be. This is the effect that I gave Navin in the primary comic too. The effect of just coming apart. Except in Navin's case, he was assembling. She's disassembling, and she just vanishes. And one of the things that happened were these disassembly rings or assembly rings, which went around like so. And in this instance, I feel like it's going upward before it was coming down. Right, so this time I'm going to set it going the other direction where it's going upward. So she's disassembling from the bottom up with these rings that just go zoop, zoop, zoop. And as they do, the little rings come up and she just dissolves. There's a real risk when someone changes posts that you'll never see them again. And that's definitely something that we're aware of in this particular instance. Like they're cognizant and aware that this may be the last time they see each other. And even if you take the risk of never getting into combat, not like where they're worried that they're going to die. I mean, although that is possible, space is dangerous. In this case, it's just plausible that their paths may never cross again. And even when they do, we all know people change as time goes on, and you'll meet again and you're not buddies anymore. You're just not the same people. So, goodbyes are hard. Transferring between two posts, especially when you're talking about two ships, and the Red Dragon's going somewhere else, not in fact heading out to the hinterlands like the QuaCk is. Anything could happen. There we go. Here we go. Okay, that's cool. No, yeah. Of course, this gives the impression that I have transporters. Because if you don't know that there are no transporters and instead she's just derezzing from the room, then it could look like we have transporters. That might be a thing. So something to think about on that one is like, do we have transporters? Do we not? All right. moving right along. I'm going to draw the other part of this. So I'm going to put on the mosaic so that I can draw the other half of this. So hey, George. Hey, George. All right. Yeah, right? It's all right, dude. Do what you need to do. It's all good. I understand you are a busy person. That is totally acceptable. Oh man, that sucks. I've been down that road. Okay. Messed up my entire plan here, folks. Harder than it looks over here. That's probably fine. Works a whole lot better if you do it correctly. You know, do it the right way. Alrighty. Moving up. This panel. We'll work on this one too, because of course this is also verboten. If we're lucky, we'll finish off this page and before the show's over. So I'm hoping for anyway. Mm-mm. Looks like everything's sealed up pretty good. You have to trust me on this, guys. I'm sealing her up and trying to get her working here and stuff. Yeah, that feels like that does that better, that job there. Let's go to the top frame and do the same thing. Tap here. So I was afraid you'd say. I don't think I want the background on this top frame at all. Yep, diving to the bottom of the ocean. Here we go again. Here we go again on our way, whatever. And one more little thing. All right, and I can pull the mosaic off, and we've sealed up all of these things, and I think we've done a pretty good job of locking this page down. And this puts us at the end of these pages. They still need grayscaling and stuff like that, so we still got some work to do, but not a lot. And then we can spend the rest of the week on both Airship 27 and the other one too. So, yep, I will be done. I'm actually probably clear at this point. So I will go on ahead and see you tonight after Geek Tank. And so thank you for being here, and thank you for being with me as well, Malin, if you're still with me. Hope you got some good work done today. And I will be back up again tonight and everything like that. Until later, I hope you all keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.